Hello everyone and welcome back. I am adding one more video. It seems like everyone is having some problems with the homework assignment. And like I said, email me, contact me, whatever. So hopefully what I did is instead of kind of giving you what the homework assignment is, I decided to write another application basically using a different um, theme, but pretty much the concept is exactly the same. So if you watch this video, you'll get what I'm trying to do. So in this one, I'm going to do something around wedding instead of graduation date. So let me create a package. I'll call my package, let's just call it week. Actually, I'll just call it wedding. And close that out. Delete that. Alright, so my wedding, I'm going to start off with person because we need people being a wedding. So we'll go over here and do class. Remember, new class. We'll call this one person. Remember, we don't have to choose static void on this one. Alright, so we're going to need to import the Java time. So import java.time. So you get everybody. Now we're going to declare our instant variables. Private string first name. Then we're going to do private string last name. Let me do something here. Let's do this. Alright. And then we're going to do private string, local date actually. And we'll do birth date this time. Alright. Now we have to create a public person or actual object. Just remember at the top here when you're let me write this out and then I'll show you. We'll call it first string. I'm going kind of quick on this, so just bear with me. Alright, so one of the things is I had someone reach out to me and say they couldn't pass the local date into here. They had these guys as public, and we don't want to show you this. We don't want to call those public. So what we want to do in this case is we need to declare them as private in order to pass the value in there, or it just is going to give you some headaches. So I'll try it back. All right. So now, public person. Let's do first name equals first name. Oops. First name, if I can spell right, equals first. Last name equals last. And then birth date equals date. Alright. Now what we need to do is we need to write some get strings. So these are just to allow us to return values. So what will happen is on our final class, our final Java page or whatever .java, we'll need to call, so what we'll do is we'll make a call to this guy here. We need to be able to get the data back, so we need return statements. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our own return. So we're going to do public string, we'll call it get first name, like this, and then what we need is what to return. So we return first name, and I'll show you what we're doing. Oh. Alright, so what will happen is when someone makes a call to this and says passes first name, last name, local to this object, we need to return that value. So in order to return that value, we create this public string, get first name, you call it whatever you want to call it. As you see, we're returning the first name. We're returning this this variable, which is a private string first name, okay? So we're just going to do that for the rest of them. So we're going to say public string get last name. Okay, and then we're going to do return last name. See? Now we're going to do public local date get birth date. Okay, and in this example, what are we going to do? We're going to return the birth date. Pretty straightforward. Once you actually stop and think about it, you'll be like, okay, that makes sense. So now we have our person class right here. So I'll just close it and save it. All right, so now we're going to create a couple class. So do a new class. We'll call it couple, and it's going to be pretty much the same as what we had up here. So, all right, I'm back. I had to clear my throat. All right, so public class couple. So we're going to do the same thing basically. It's going to be a mirror image of what we had, so we could probably grab some of that stuff. So java.time. And remember, make sure you're using Java 1.8. If you're using 1.7, the Java time will not be available. It was a release in a later update to the Java. So we'll do private person, call it bride. Now we'll do a private person. Spell right, groom. As you notice here, we did private person. See, if you remember, if we come over to person real quick, and we did private string, and we did first name, last name, notice the difference is we're doing private person. Why are we doing that? Well, because we created a class called person, and that class is over here. So if we create another class, say we create a class over here called public vehicle, we could add vehicle in front of that. So that says, hey, you know what? We're going to call that class, and we're using, like, if you right click on person right here, and you go to open declaration, or F3, looks what it does. It brings you over to that person class. So it knows that, you know, you have a bride and a groom in there. All right, so now in this case, we're going to create another public couple, very similar to the other page. So now we're going to pass person BR for bride, and we're going to do person GR for groom. So person, we know what that is. Couple is the name of the method, and we'll do bride equals GR, BR, if I knew what the bride was, and groom equals GR. So it's doing the same thing. We have groom and bride. These are our privates. It's equal to values that are being passed in. Now we're going to just do returns. That's it. So now when that person calls that, we need to be able to return it. So we'll do get bride. We'll do return bride. And now we'll do public person get groom. All right, if I could type, and then we do return groom. That right there creates that class. So now we have two classes here. We have a couple and a person. All right, so let's save that and that. All right, another class. This is going to be called wedding. I promise this will get easier over time. Once again, we're going to create import Java time. All right, and we're going to have to declare our instant values of, where we at right here, private couple. Now in this case, we're creating, you'll see what we're doing here. As you see here, we did private couple. Well, let me finish this and I'll show you. And we'll do a local date. We'll call it wedding date. And then we'll do a private string called location. The only class that we're using is couple, because we create a couple over here. See, in that couple, so we're going to call that and use that information for couple. Okay. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to do public wedding. And we're going to pass couple, name it whatever you want to call it. Local date, call it date, string, location. Alright, so now we're going to do couple, because we have couple in our private at the top, equals C, that's what we're passing over. Wedding date equals date, and then location equals LOC. Location. Alright, what do I have wrong here? I have local date spelled wrong. Good. Alright, now we need to just do our return. So we'll do public couple, get couple, and we will do return couple. Public local date, get wedding date, wedding date, and then we'll do public string get location, turn location. All right, so in this class right here, let me hit save. All right, so in this class right here, we saved it. So we did import, we did the class wedding, we have the public wedding, we're getting the return values. Perfect. So now we'll just close that out, and we need to create one more class. This time, this class will be called test. We'll call it test wedding because it's basically our last one. This one will have our static main in it, so we'll call it test wedding because we're testing this out. We're going to choose public static void main, and all right. So this is good, and this will be our last part. So this is the big one. This takes some time to code. So we'll go through this import. We'll re-import in Java.time. We have our public test wedding. We have our static. I hate when it does that. So we're going to need create another static void down here. We'll call it display wedding details. We'll do wedding W. Nothing there yet. So we have those two things. This right here is the main area, and this will be something that we call. All right, hopefully I could copy and paste some of this stuff because it's a lot. So local date, date1 equals local date dot of. Because now when you see dot of, as you see here, when I typed in dot, I did OB. It has here, you'll see you could do int for year, int for month, int for day of month, etc. So in this case, what we're going to do is we're going to do that, and see it already has it pre-populated for you. Year, we know it's an integer, so let's do 1986. Then you need a month, so you need another object, so we'll do number 12. Day of month, we'll do number 14, and that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat because I'm not going to write all that code. So I need 6 of these guys. So I'm going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll just change the dates around. 2, 3. I know these are not meaningful, but just kind of give an example. We'll call this 1984, 1991, 1992, 2016, because these are our wedding dates. 2016, we'll go with June's a good time. 18, we'll go with September 30th. Let's see here, birthdays. Let's just come up with 2. Oops, can't do that. Can't type. 2, we'll say 2/14 for Valentine's Day. Come on. 4/17 is fine. All right. I was cheating, but whatever. All right. So now we need to create a person class, person information. So we'll do person bride1 equals new person. We just have to pass the value. So I'll show you something what we're doing here. So let's do Kimberly. I don't know, just make up a name. Smith. Then we need to pass a date. 1. Alright. So what we're doing here is, so we've recorded these dates here, which is we're calling their birth dates. And then right here, we're doing bride1, we're doing person. So we're using that person class that we created. We're saying we're creating we're creating person, and we're saying bride1 equals an instance of that person object. And we know that person object, so if we click on this guy right here and go to open declaration, it pulls up that person class so that we know what that person class is expecting. A first name, a last name, and a birth date, right? That's what we do, a first name, a last name, and a birth date. Now if we did it in a different order, like say we did birth date, last name, first name, everything's going to be completely off and it's not going to work. It's going to blow up and give you some funky message or whatever. Alright, so now in this case we're going to do a groom. How can I cheat? Alright, when I say cheat, I'm just going to copy this. Let's just type it out, whatever. So we do person groom1 equals new person. We give it a name. How about Jeff? Great name. And last name will be Williams. Okay. We give it a date. Choose the date to field. Awesome. Now we'll do person. What am I? Okay, I forgot something there. We'll do bride 2. You know what? We're gonna make this easy. Let's copy this right here and do bride 2, groom 2. We'll choose date 3 and date 4, but we have to change the names because we can't have Kimberly Smith. We'll have let me think here. Geez, I can't think of any names. Melissa, Carthy, and the fellow's name will be Jack Smith. All right. Now we need a couple. So now we're going to use our couple class. We're going to say couple1 equals new couple. So we're going to call that couple, and we're going to pass in a bride 1 and bride 2. Then we're going to do couple. All right, okay. Thought I messed that up. Couple 2 equals new couple. We'll do bride 2 and groom 2. All right. So if you see here, what we're doing is we're using the couple class now. So if we do couple, when we open it up, it brings over that we're passing a bride and a groom in, which is great. Oh, what did I do? Close that out. All right, so we're passing a couple, we're passing bride 1, bride 2, groom 2. Or did I mess that up? I do. That'd have been bad. Alright, so bride 1 and groom 1, bride 2 and groom 2. Wow, that'd have been funny. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is pass in the wedding information. So now we have the wedding class that we created. Hopefully this is making more sense now. Wedding 1 equals new wedding, couple 1, date 5. Then we'll come up with a name of the area. We'll call it the what's a popular area in Pittsburgh? We'll call it the Gibsonia Country Club. Probably pretty nice up there. That is a country club name. And then wedding number 2 equals new wedding, couple 2. We'll use where Ben Roethlisberger got married at, which was David Lawrence Center. All right. Okay. So now, as you see here, kind of separate it a little bit, make more sense. We use separate that guy. These guys right here are just your local variables that we're using. So we're just calling these dates right here. But we're using the person class that we have over here. We're using the couple class that we created already. And we're using the wedding class that we created. See how this all works? Is now we create this main file that gets used, but it calls all those other classes to get information from. Now we could have created this all on one page. Like I said, that guy I worked with, Dave Pickle, that had 1,100 lines of code on one page, but that wasn't the correct way of doing something. Sorry. All right, so the next part is we need to display the information. So we're going to need to pass this information over to this guy here. So let's type in display wedding details. So all we're doing is copying the name of this class. So I could have easily did a copy, paste, and then you open and close bracket there, and then we just pass in, first one will be wedding 1, and then we'll do wedding 2. All right, so now we need to write some code. All right, here comes the fun part. Couple equals W for up there where it's highlighted, dot. See how now, remember before I mentioned about the get things that we did? Look at that, all our gets are there. There's our get couple. So that already is gonna, what that's gonna do is gonna, let's see if it'll let me highlight it. If I right click on it and go open declaration, look at that. Takes me over to my wedding class. It gets the couple and it'll return the couple information. It works beautifully. All right, so the next thing, and this is object oriented. When you actually think about it, it's a lot better than procedural programming, but it's very interesting how it all works. All right, so the next part of it is we're going to do local date. So let's do local date wedding date equals W dot, guess what we're going to do? You got it, get wedding date. Already done for us. All right, so now we're going to do string. What did I do here? Apparently, I got something jacked up. Let's see, what did I do? Local date. All right, see? That's what I don't like about Java. It's so case sensitive on words. All right, so let's do string location equals w.getLocation. Now we'll do string, or actually person bride equals couple.getBride. All right, so then we need, what's the other person with the bride? The groom. So we'll do equals couple.getGroom. All right, now we need string first. So this first bride, yeah, equals bride dot get first name. And then we do string, we need the last name of that bride. Well, last bride equals bride dot get last name. All right, let's see what else we need here. I told you this is a lot of coding. Local date, bride b date equals bride dot get birth date. And then we get the local date. Now we need to do a string for first groom. So we're just repeating what we just did here. Let me think here. First groom, get first name. Duh. And then do the same thing. Last groom equals groom. I get last name. So you see what we're doing here. All right, so let me see. We got location, bride. Last name, first name. What else are we missing here? We need to get local date. All right, a lot of thinking here. All right, I got it wrong. Date. Let's see. We got first groom, last groom. We need groom b date equals groom dot get birth date. All right, so now we got that. All right, what are we doing here? What are we missing here? All right, so now I think we got everything. All right, so now we need to print this out. So we'll do system.out.println. Do new for new line plus last bride plus last groom plus wedding, close that, and do system.out.println date. This right here is takes a lot of work because you have to go back and change stuff around from time to time because things are like separated and not separated, whatever the case is. So let's do location. Apologize if I'm typing too quick. We don't need that right there yet. We're going to do location. Yep. And then we do system.out.println. All right, what do we need? What are we missing here? All right, bride plus first bride plus, let's see, we need a space, last bride, plus space, space, plus bride, B date, close. All right, let's see if this thing blows up when I do it, because I'm sure I missed something. Groom, oops, plus, oops, first groom plus last groom plus, and the last is the groom date. Oh, whew, that was a lot. Let me tell you, a lot of typing. Anyhow, as you see here, we had the display, and so let's see if this actually works. It probably will blow up. Oh my God, surprisingly it worked. All right, so as you see here, when we displayed information, it said the Smith-Williams wedding, the date, location, bride, Kimberly Smith, the birth date, groom. Same down here with the McCarthy Smith wedding, the date, and so forth. Now, let me close out of this real quick. So you see here, so this is the same concept for the graduation date. Think about who's going to be at the graduation date. Are you going to have a person? Of course you're going to have a person. Yeah, that could be the first name, the last name, and you don't have to use birthday, but graduation date or whatever the case is. And then you're not going to have a couple in your graduation one because it doesn't have a specific couple, okay? So remember that. Wedding would be maybe your graduation. So you might have public graduation. What specific graduation, what's going to be there? You'll have a date. You'll have a location for the thing. That's just an example. You won't have a couple because you have that person class. All right. And then when you do your test wedding, well, test graduation, you could have all this information here, but you could also have, you're only going to have that one individual person, so it's going to make your job a little bit easier. You could use guest. Another thing is instead of using couple, you could use guest. Maybe do that. Use guest for the couple, because I think it was RSVP people. So you could set up something, maybe instead of bride equals BR, you could have guests. And then on here, when you call that, you could have like, Kimberly Smith could be your guest, Jeff Williams, so forth. You kind of get the idea. You have your location. In this case, we listed 2 weddings. You're only going to have 1 wedding. So hopefully this makes more sense. Please watch this video. It'll be very helpful, and later on I will post this code out on the Blackboard. So if you have any questions, I really hope this helps you out a lot better. Take care.